I want to thank Ben and Mass Inc., who has been a terrific partner to MBAE, and the Springfield Business Leaders for Education, who is a group of leaders in the community who have really dug deep into education issues, meet with the school department, and really are trying to be part of the solution. My organization, the Mass Business Alliance for Education, has played a role in accountability. In 1993, when the Education Reform Act was enacted, we actually provided the conceptual framework that brought about high standards, holding districts accountable for meeting them, and providing a foundation budget. So, depending on your perspective, we either get the blame or the credit. We also were members of the Accountability and Assistance Advisory Council to the Department of Education, representing the business community on the development of the pyramid you saw and the accountability system that we have now. And so I guess I want to make a couple of comments and sum up what we've heard. You know, accountability is often the proxy that gets blamed for problems it really didn't cause. Ben talked about narrowing the curriculum, teaching to the test. That is actually the way that it has been implemented. It is not the system that drives those kinds of things. And I point that out not because I air my disagreements with Ben, which we often have very constructive conversations, but because we have to be careful that anything that we do to the accountability system is implemented well, so that it becomes a tool and not something that narrows and has us teaching to a test that's the wrong test. Matt also talked about, or Ben, I guess, talked about, you know, creating a ceiling, and that was never the intention. MCAS, as a matter of fact, was designed to measure and does measure basic proficiency, not the kind of college and career readiness that we expect our schools to produce graduates today. So that test was really always intended as a floor, but unfortunately has become a ceiling, which is why we need to be much more vigilant and more fluid about making sure that the measures we use really are designed to get us to the goal we want to achieve and don't become something that really lowers the bar. Matt also said that the accountability system was designed to focus on the lowest performing. And that is also something that has happened more because there has been federal money to target to those schools. But the accountability system, if you look at the statute and the design, is really designed to promote excellence. They're supposed to be looking at level 1 schools and figuring out what kinds of tools work in those schools and sharing that information with everybody else. And so as we design and talk about ESSA, we also need to make sure that we're looking at the good things that are happening and the excellence, and that we promote it. Tricia mentioned that we need data. Business community uses data to drive improvements, and that is a critical expectation. We need to see data as a tool, a flashlight, not a club. And we need to insist, and we haven't talked much about it, that student impact, that the way our schools are helping students is really the core of anything that we do. And I loved the idea that we can have measures for accountability that are not included in the kind of data we share with families and communities. We ought to have that flexibility, and DESE ought to be providing data far beyond the accountability system that can be used in communities, and one of the things it can be used for is to justify investments in education. Because right now, there is an awful lot of doubt, quite frankly, about where the money is going and how it's being used and what we're funding through Chapter 70 that really is not an education tool like health insurance that should maybe be funded a different way. Bigger discussion than we have time for. So I'm just going to close by saying that I wanted to re-emphasize some of the great ideas that we heard, but Ben will do that. So just to say that from our perspective, we think we need meaningful data that informs and drives improvements. That's the test for the data measures we choose. And that should apply even for level 1 and 2 schools. It should not be focused on the lowest performing schools, but on what's going to be of value to all schools. We need to guarantee equity. That is the core beginning of accountability, was because there was so much inequity. We needed to figure out and make sure that every child, regardless of their circumstance, is educated for success in their lives. in citizenship, in higher education, and in the workplace. And I couldn't agree more that I loved this, use it not to chastise, but to challenge. That's exactly what our accountability system should do. And I think that I could not close representing the business community without agreeing about career readiness. The kinds of things that employers have told us are the most important skills and knowledge that students have is the ability to learn how to learn throughout their lifetime. We are educating kids for a world that doesn't exist. It's rapidly changing, and they're going to need to adapt over and over as citizens, as community members, and as employees and leaders in the community. And so we need to give them those tools of communication, collaboration, ability to solve problems, and somehow our accountability system has to guarantee that we can measure that. So thank you very much. I'm thrilled to partner with MassInc and SBLE, and thank you all for coming and having such a rich conversation. Thank you all.